Duane Jones and I belonged to an organization. It was the 1960s, 67, 68, 65, 6. But in 67, 68, we had an organization called National Black Theater. This was the time of Kennedy. A lot of you people weren't even born. But some of you look in your history books. At this time, at this decade, everyone thought that the country had a chance of addressing its ills and its problems, and that we would conquer all of the problems between individuals and groups and come together as a nation and do something wonderful. Because we had John Kennedy, but he was gone in 64, but we had Bobby Kennedy, we had Martin Luther King, and we had the hippie movement, we had the civil rights movement, and the women's movement, and we were really moving in the direction that we thought would change this country. Duane Jones and I were part of that movement, part of SNCC. I don't know if you ever remember SNCC. CORE, probably not. The Black Panthers, maybe, you know. The Muslims, the Martin Luther King's SCLC, his organization, the Urban League, CORE, all of these groups it was a hotbed in New York and in Harlem. And Duane Jones and I were a big part of that. We were doing anything we could to help African Americans have a better life and to fight for their rights. And that was part of it. We were young black men. What were we going to do, you know? We were soldiers, and we were trying to do whatever we could to change the world, you know, along with so many others. And so one day, I'm walking down 125th Street, and I pass the theater marquee. And there's Duane Jones in the marquee with this picture everywhere. I said, oh my God, this is Duane, what the hell? So I look at the title, God, what Night of the Living Dead? Oh, so Jesus. So I ran, because our organization's headquarters was about 3 blocks down and up a long flight of steps in a loft. So I ran 3 blocks down as fast as I could. I ran up just leaped 3 steps at a time, up the stairs, opened the door, and there was Duane sitting at the table. And I said, Duane, you're in a movie. What is this movie? You're in a movie. You're in a movie. He said, shh. I said, what do you mean, shh? Don't tell anybody. I said, what do you mean don't tell anybody? You're all over the marquee. Everybody in the world's gonna know you're in this damn movie. What are you talking about? That was Duane. The next time I saw Duane was in the 1980s. I just finished shooting a film. I'd become an actor at that point. Just finished shooting a film. Of course I was. 78. I did Dawn, and it was Ringo Long in 76. So yes. So I had just finished shooting a film in New Jersey. I was staying at the Ramada on 50th Street, right across from the Broadway theaters. And I just finished shooting, and I was flying out that afternoon we're going back to LA. And I said, oh, look, I got a couple hours. I'm going to go out and walk around Times Square, Broadway, and say goodbye to New York. I lived in New York for 11 years prior to that, so New York was close to my heart. So I'm going to say goodbye to New York. I'm going to send it and see it again. And you know how many years I'll be without seeing this great city. So I'm going to walk around. So I started walking around, and I walked down one side of the street, and I noticed this across the street. there was this young lady in an afro and a tie-dye shirt handing out flyers. Now, in the 80s, nobody was wearing afros pretty much, and nobody was wearing tie-dye shirts. That was something that had passed. And I thought it was a little strange, but but on my way back, I came back on that side of the street, and I passed her, and I was going past her. I didn't want to just stare at her. I just wanted, she was handing out flyers. I don't wear flyers, so I was trying to avoid the flyers. And she said, "Ken Foree, Ken Foree, how you doing?" I said, "Fine, fine, fine. How you know me?" He said, "Oh, my name's said I'm from National Black Theater." I said, "Oh, really? So how is everybody? What's going on? What's everybody doing?" You know, she said, "Oh, we're doing fine, and we're doing some productions. We're doing this." I said, "Oh, great, great, great." She said, "How long are you going to be in town?" I said, "Well, I'm leaving in about an hour. I have a flight out of here to LaGuardia going back to LA." She said, "Oh, that's too bad." I said, "Why?" She said, "Because we're having a wake for Duane Jones today."
Oh.
And that's how I discovered when Duane Jones died. One more little story about Duane. I forget what this is. Maybe it was '86 when I found out he died. In '84, I was in New York, or '80. But the theaters in New York, the off-Broadway theaters, open little annex theaters on 42nd Street between 9th and 10th Avenue, little small theaters. And one day they had a big food festival on 9th Avenue. And so they closed 9th Avenue, so there were thousands of people walking around, just, they closed the avenue, they had food, vegetables and fruits and all kinds of knickknacks you wanted to buy. And they also had the opening of these annexes. And Mondale came down. If you remember Mondale, you remember Jimmy Carter? He's now sick and almost dying. Anybody know Jimmy? Well, Mondale was his vice president. Well, Mondale was running for president after Jimmy had lost, and I think whatever that situation was, Mondale was going against somebody next year, something like that, the president. He was trying to run for president. So Mondale came down to open the annex and to, of course, do his political thing. So there were thousands of people up and down the street between 9th Avenue, 10th Avenue, 11th Avenue, not all down 9th Avenue. There were thousands of people for the fruit fair and the street festival. And Duane Jones had one of the annexes. It was called the Black Theater Alliance. And I went to all the other annexes. I had two friends with me, a lady and a gentleman I knew. And we stopped in Duane Jones's at Black Theater Alliance. And from that point on, I laughed, I was entertained. It was one of the more enjoyable days of my life, and it started that afternoon, and we continued. We went up to Duane's house about 9 o'clock that night. We smoked a little grass. Duane took out a huge pot. I mean, really, not the smaller, but the big, large. I think it was pumpkin pie, or maybe it was I forget what kind. Anyway, he had whipped cream and ice cream on the top of it. And he handed out these long wooden spoons to all of us, and about 6 of us or 7 of us there, and we just ate. And I never laughed so much in my life that evening, that afternoon. I will never forget it. So, Duane Jones is the star of the film you're about to see. Duane Jones was a warrior with me in the 1960s. Duane Jones was a great individual. I love him. I love him dearly. Love him then, love him now. And I hope that you will, as you watch this, and again, one of the poignant moments in this film is when everything's over. You know, the dead, the people being rescued, the cavalry's on their way, and Duane puts his head out the door and say, I'm alive. I made it. Hello. Save me. And he gets that bullet between the eyes. And every one of us, no matter who we were in 1968 and today, have a sigh of regret that this man didn't make it because he was a hero for all of us in that film. Okay, I'm going to open it up to some Q&As. Us tomorrow? Next movie? Oh, okay. No, because we have to show this movie now because I've told that I've gone on at the famous philosopher Andrew Long. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone. Enjoy, Duane. Enjoy this.